Right, well, hello to whoever ends up watching this. Right, so this isn't a video that I wanted to find myself making. It'll go under the title of A Tale of Woe at the FLO. Okay, so it's not a very complicated story really, but there's a few elements to it. So I've been metal detecting for about 3 years on land for around just less than a year. I'm managing to find some quite good stuff. At the detecting club that I go to, they said to report your findings. So I found a few hammered coins, so I sent the details off to the Portable Antiquities Scheme, to a couple of FLOs there, as you're supposed to, and I found some mainly Elizabethan age hammered coins on one field, reasonably spread out, but I was informed by email that they could be treasure trove and could I bring them in. And the fines liaison officer said, because I emailed a couple of other coins, including one crucial one, which is a short cross silver penny, and oh yeah, very very nice, bring them in, we'll have a look at them. So I thought, I'm going to have to hand over these 7 hammered coins that could be a scattered hoard as a treasure case, filled in all the details on that, where they were, and I took along 2 trays of stuff, thinking that, you know, the museum would identify, you know, some of the other finds. Okay, right, so there's a crucial case, I believe, as in case, so let's just have a look. Right, now it's not got the same items in, but these were the 2 cases concerned. There's this one, which is just a simple plastic lid like that, and it's got off a car boot by my parents, and I think it used to have, you know, samples of rocks in and stuff. None of those were there, but it's just like a display case. And there's this one, which very nice Bronze Age ores there. It didn't have that in at the time, that wasn't found, with a lid on. Now the coin at the centre of this, the main culprit as it were, here's half of it. It's a King John, just after the 1200s. Okay, so I found that. Now the fines liaison officer, I will be very very kind, mention no names, even genders or anything, or even areas, said that this would be nice in the personal collection. You know, was it which struck me as a bit strange, but there you go. Anyway, so interesting meeting. Handed over the coins, and then at the end of the meeting, the fines liaison officer, so these was filled with items, said thank you for handing over both trays. I was very very shocked. I thought I'd just be handing over those items, like I said, the treasure case, the 7 hammered coins, but the FLO said, oh no, you know, we'd like a look at them all. And then it was like, right, okay, so I was in shock. I cracked a couple of jokes or something just to ease the tension, but it was all my best finds over 2.5 years were just kind of like taken in. And I won't show you the other side, but a pink sheet was kind of filled in, and the items were then not individually listed because there was too many. They were just counted, and it came to 177. Now some items were counted individually, like coins, There was a set of earrings, they were counted as 2. Okay, so it was very disconcerting handing over all my top finds, over 177 items, and now you don't, you're not fully aware of the legality of metal detected finds, and they belong to the Crown and all this type of business. So you don't really feel you're in a position to say, hang on, what on earth do you think you're playing at? Or even no. Even though there was a kind of a little sales technique, are you happy for them to be handed over, was said, or words like that. You're happy for them to be looked at or handed in, and you kind of like backed into a corner. What am I going to do? I said, well, not exactly no, but it's the Fines Liaison Office, isn't it? It's a representation of the Crown. So what are you going to do? So anyway, so that was that. So I left with nothing, went home. I was feeling very dubious about the whole thing. And that afternoon I got a phone call. And it was in relation to the items that they'd expressed an interest in. So the museum, because of the area, they're not very frequent finds, were interested in the possible Saxon items, particularly the Shatters, Skirt, or what have you, and the Stiker. The museum were interested in those. The Fines Liaison officer was interested in the early medieval short cross ampulla, which was on the same field, and there was a set of earrings too. We've got a dot and wave design, so possible Saxon, but probably not. Maybe more medieval, maybe linked in a chain, but there was 2 of them. So anyway, let's call them earrings. Would I be interested in going on to university, selling them, or loaning them? Which really kind of caught me on the hop. So it was, I tried to play for time. I wasn't particularly keen on the idea of selling them, so I said I'd think about loaning them. But it's that kind of possession is 9/10 of the law, isn't it? So I'm now thinking they've got hold of them, and it's now me having to get my fines back off them, rather than them trying to get my fines off me. So I wasn't not really feeling happy about the whole thing. The fact that the 2 trays were taken in, then you get a phone call saying, would you be interested in letting them go? It's like, well, hang on, you've got them. So I wasn't happy about that. So anyway, so I met someone from the museum and said I'd happily consider lending them. Now, I would happily consider lending them, but partly saying that was to try and hold them off just keeping them. If they thought I was prepared to lend them, then they'd be less likely to just take them in whatever form that they feel that they're entitled to. So anyway, so that was that. Right, so it was the Saxon stuff and the medieval stuff. Now, anyway, so I went back to, at a later date, probably a month or so later, went back at a later date to collect the items. And this is where it gets interesting, if you like. So, there were 2 trays. There was this and this tray. Now, here's the issue. This, the coin that the fines liaison officer was interested in was in 2 pieces, and there were 2 of them, and they couldn't be found. They were in this tray, and the items were jumbled compared to how I'd hand them over. Now that could be them being taken out or put back in, but it looked more like, because this is not a good travel case, I was not expecting it to be handed over. This one's got a lock on it, so nothing's going to fall out. Could jumble around but not going to fall out. This one got no lock on it. It looked like that they'd been transported, it had not been looked after, and things had bounced around. And the fines liaison officer was in a bit of a flap that the coin that the fines liaison officer had expressed an interest in was now half missing. One of those was missing, and of course, because everything was not individually logged, who knew what else was missing? So obviously the museum was interested in the Saxon stuff, so I looked around to see what was of these. There were 4 strap ends. One was in the wrong part, so I said, oh, you know, one of those is missing. The fines liaison officer said no, there was only 3, and then we found it in a different section. The fines liaison officer covered it and said, oh, you know, you may be nervous then, blah blah blah. So there were 4 then. The fines liaison officer said that this was, the other half of this was probably on the desk that they'd been using to look at them, and this as well. So I was, you know, trying to hold off thinking that they were completely gone, but fearing the worst. I got given back the hammered coins apart from the treasure case and the fines that were in this case, but then the fines liaison officer took this case back with the fines that were not yet registered in, and said that the other half coin and earring would probably turn up on their desk. Didn't hear anything, so I think it was, I can't remember if it was the next day or that afternoon, I emailed and said had they turned up. The fines liaison officer said no. So yeah, so yeah, 2 fines. The fines that they were interested in were now missing. Not very good. In the meantime, I found a Bronze Age hoard, and I sent pictures of that in, and it was all wonderful, fabulous, can't wait to see it, it will be a treasure case, log it, blah blah blah. So I then go back, I emailed and said, when can I have my items back? Oh yeah, next time, and was given a date. So turned up to collect the items without the Bronze Age hoard or anything else, saying, because this had gone on for 6 weeks, 2 months, that these items had been missing and nothing had been done, no communication, no this is the protocol, this is what's going to happen, you're going to be compensated, or nothing whatever. So I turned up, said nope, I hadn't brought along the Bronze Age hoard. The fines liaison officer said that they'd forgotten all about that. Anyway, so fine, and I said, but no, I wasn't prepared to hand it over until we'd dealt with missing items. Got the tray, and to then find that one of the strap ends was now missing, and it had definitely been there the previous visit. So that's things going missing twice. Okay. I won't say too many details about you know, because there's a couple of things said, but I will keep their anonymity. You know, a little bit apologetic, shocked, but no protocols, no it's in hand, I form my superior, so nothing. So I said, look, I'm not handing over the Bronze Age hoard yet. And Fines Liaison Officer said, fine, it's understandable. I said, it needs to go up the chain, there'll be protocols in place. Somebody senior needs to ring me, say what's going on, what's happening. Right, okay, fine. That was Thursday, round about 11 o'clock. It is now Monday. Nobody's contacted me. I've tried to ring the Fines Liaison Office, then or the British Museum, whatever, not answering the phone. Tried another couple of numbers, not answering the phone. So I'm not happy. Now the back of the form, I won't show you the front of the form. It's got signatures on. So if you're dropping off anything at the museum, be aware of what it says on the back of your pink slip. Terms and conditions of acceptance. So they're taking it off. They're demanding it off us, but it's like we're giving it to them of our own free will. Not really. So in general, except in the case of negligence on the part of itself or its officers, the museum does not accept liability for the loss of, or damage to, or deterioration in the item or items described over leaf. And then there's something about transfer of title and all the rest of it. So transfer of title. The owner or depositor acting on behalf of the owner confirms that he or she is the absolute owner of the items specified over leaf. It goes on, blah blah blah. But the museum has full rights to use such items as seen fit. This may include forwarding to more relevant collections or appropriate disposal. It's yeah. I think you can be making your own mind up about the system at this point. Yeah, I forgot to mention, when I emailed after the first items went missing, I said that this was not a suitable travel case, that it's not got a fixed lid, maybe it was carried in a car, maybe it was even carried like under an arm, vertical, but I said it should be at least taped down, or put in an outer container, that if something drops out of this, it would be in the container, not disappearing onto a British Rail floor or a car park floor. The Fines Liaison Officer said that they agreed that both things would be done, that it would be taped down and put in an outer container. It came out of a hold-all, a zipped hold-all, so if anything came out, maybe it would go into the bigger hold-all, but it wasn't taped down, and the Saxon strap end is missing. You know, items weren't individually logged, so maybe at some future point I'll realise something else is missing as well. But I went through the main finds and the rest of the stuff is here. So that is my tale of woe with the FLO. Not a happy boy. Made it back to the car, had a little turn signal, and is this part of a chain? But that's an interesting design, that, isn't it? And there's another one. So I'm just gonna I'm just going to detect around this spot. We'll clean those up and have a look at them later. I think it's part of a chain. I don't think they're earrings or anything. We shall see. Hope there's some more. How about this for an artifact? There's a bit of gilding on it. And then that. Very strange. TMA. Very strange. Wow. Okay, so I've had lots of lead on this field, but it's my only definite Saxon find on this field, a strap end, and I've just had this. It looked like that both sides, and I just cleaned it a little bit, and look at that. Now I do not know that that is Saxon. Could be like the end of a spoon or something. Could be is it copper, or is that Saxon? We'll try and find out. Be fantastic if it was. So, could be a piece of Victorian stuff, 100 and something years old, or it could be 1,000 years old. Right, we'll see. It's very windy, so I'm going to have to be quick, but I think that might be a folded over hammered coin. Is that a folded Edward? An Eddie penny? Good God. Taking it slow and trying to find smaller signals, and there you go.